Whoa, what the hell was that? Wow. Well, that music definitely broke right there. Holy lordy, I don't know if any of you have even heard it. Oh, you can hear it. Wow. Something got screwed up in the sound. That's crazy. What's up? Welcome everybody to the stream. Unfortunately, the music got destroyed in the background. Let me try to restart my Chrome. Maybe that's what I gotta do. So I won't be seeing you guys for a couple of moments until I actually manage to reload this chat back up. But we are back with one final Ark of Osiris for this weekend. It is none other than Kingdom 16s. We are being honored in TGS. This is a huge alliance, guys. This is a huge alliance from Kingdom 16. A 2.1 billion alliance. I had lost completely the track of everything. So yeah, we are in TGS Kingdom 16, trying to get a little bit of action going on. These guys are actually in a tough one. Okay, these guys are in a tough one because their current alliance is at about, as you guys can see in the title, they are at roughly 600. Oh, the title didn't change, did it? Oh my goodness, did it change my thumbnail? Oh, give me a second, guys. I see that the title of the stream just said screw it. Even though, oh, it didn't. Okay, it's TGS 656 million might against someone 133 million power more. So this is going to be a really interesting one. Chisco and Ronnie are also streaming. Well, that doesn't surprise me in particular. This whole let's do the Ark of Osiris thing has been a big trend that slowly has been picking up. And I'm glad it is. Hopefully we can all get together and actually get all the VODs in the same place. But for now, everybody's doing their own thing. It is what it is. I don't care. We're about to watch TGS, a very, very big alliance, a huge alliance, fight off the Ark of Osiris. It's going to be a really interesting one. We're going to do the usual we do from now on, which is we're going to draw a little bit on the screen, strategies and things like that. We're also going to look at a little bit of a highlight at the end. And I think that what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a video tomorrow. You guys let me know if you guys like that idea. I'll make a video tomorrow that is all the streams that we did, highlights of the best moments of Ark of Osiris that we caught on film. Maybe commentate on a few mistakes that were done, and maybe highlight a few awesome plays that got done, which we saw a few really cool ones. If you guys like that, then let me know. And 3 minutes in, let's hit the record. Thank you, Nathan, for reminding me this. I was paying attention to that, but I'll start recording now so I actually don't forget it, because I do have the tendency to forget small things as I get on a tangent. So I see that it's me, Ronnie, Chisco, and Spooby streaming too. Sweet. Spooby's commentating Ark of Osiris. Stream offline. Well, that's a little. Is this because Looks like his stream went down. That's pretty crazy. Bro, do you have a video about how to play this game? Yes, Mohammed. My whole channel is all about that. If you go into the channel, you can look for beginners videos. You have guides and tips and advice on how to start. You have a little bit of a jumper account explanation, and you have a whole guide on how to do a jumper account, which is, in my opinion, the best way to play the game once you understand how the game is played. If I were to suggest to anyone who wants to start playing this game, who wants to make an investment, to play a little bit free to play until you understand the game a little bit better, and then make a jumper and invest in it, as you will get much more bang for your buck early game as a jumper when you know what you're doing. So there's a lot of information, Mohammed, on the channel. You just gotta click on the channel and start browsing through the Rise of Civilizations videos. How's your Kingdom 196 going? It's going really, really well. Mark, I'm going to start making more videos from the jumper account. I'm going to refrain a little bit more from showing the big account. I mean, it's growing. It's going to keep growing. I'm going to push it hard. But at this stage, between the time now and about 36, 37 million power, all you guys are going to see is like me completing missions. But I really want to show you guys a few more parts of the game from the jumper's perspective, as the jumper is really, really progressing well. When are you going to do the gold chests? We're going to do the gold chests on Tuesday. We're going to do a nice little stream on Tuesday. It is my birthday on Tuesday, so I'm going to take the day off. I'm going to chill. I'm going to stream with you guys. We're going to open a ton of gold keys. I have like 210 gold keys to open with you guys. We're also going to do a couple of other things. We're going to spend a little bit of my birthday money on the account. I'm going to spend a little bit of money on both the jumper and the big account to push them up a little further. We're going to go look at the free-to-play account and do a bunch of other cool things. So the stream is going to be pretty cool. Hopefully I'll see you guys then. And we're going to open a ton of keys. Trust me. 32 seconds before the Ark of Osiris begins, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to go into the Ark of Osiris mode, where essentially what I do is primarily cast the event itself. Pay attention primarily to the event itself. So I apologize if I seem to be ignoring you guys. I will do my best in between things going on when there's a little bit of downtime on the event to make sure I holler at you guys and make sure you guys are in there. Jason Bourne, the notification squad is real. There you go. How you doing, man? This is the 4th Ark of Osiris we cast this weekend. As the battle begins, it is time for us to watch and for us to figure out who TGS are fighting. Now, it is known that they're 130 million power ahead of TGS. Who are these guys? They are none the other Jed. Jed, if any of you have a little bit of a moment to figure out where these guys are from, I see a lot of big players. There is 3. This guy's a potential tier 5, not necessarily. Another 40 million, another 40 million, a 35 million, a 32, 30, 28. Oh my goodness, you guys. There is 1, 2, probably 3, probably 4, and maybe 5 potential tier 5 players. This guy has one for sure. This guy has them for sure. But these guys, it depends how lean these accounts are. These are big, big boys. And TGS are going, we are dead. Oh, give them hell. There we go. Give them a little bit of a cheer as the event is about to get started. Oh my goodness. As we know, they have about 5 tier 5 players. And at this point in time, we have seen 4 Ark of Osirises. This is the 4th one this weekend. We know which buildings are the ones we are really looking forward to see people pushing. We're talking about the Sky Altar and Desert Altar. We have seen an Ark of Osiris being won by a team that only held those 4 buildings for as long as possible. There the thing is, a lot of people have been neglecting the outposts very early on and have been heading primarily towards obelisks. While I do like that idea, there are a couple of combinations of commanders, and I'm not going to disclose too much information, but there are combinations of commanders which will actually allow you to go into the outpost and then from there into the obelisk and actually make it to the obelisk faster by stopping at the outpost of Seth. This can be done with skills of a few set of commanders, but that's some information that you guys are going to have to figure out on your own, which one it is and what's going on. So about 47 seconds before the event starts, what we would like to see our friends from TGS doing to start a gap as soon as possible. They really want to start growing in terms of a gap of points differential. I'm trying to say it in a much easier way. I just can't figure out really a real good way to open up a gap in the points between their enemy team, I guess. The whole point is make as many points per minute faster than the other team, or ensure they're making less points per minute than we are. So for that, the outposts are crucial, as each of them is 30 points and they can be achieved and opened very quickly, obtained very easily. It will take a few moments until the altars open up, so there's plenty of time to move some troops around and get them to the obelisk, teleport to the obelisk, and start sending troops towards the Sky Altar, Desert Altar, and Shrine of War. So ideally what we're about to see is a few marches going towards the outposts and obelisks. And as you can see, a perfect play by the red team as far as I'm concerned. It is one march, if that, one march going out of each castle, going for the big boy targets. They're spreading around, going for the outposts, going for caravans, going for the obelisk. And the primary goal as of right now is to get the first buildings first. Now, we're really not going to have to look too much zoomed into the map just yet, as we can overlook the whole map and understand what's going on and figure out which team is going to be ahead and who is getting where and when. So keep in mind, it is about 4 minutes into the event already. Well, it ticked down the first 3 minutes we couldn't attack, so it's about a minute into the event already, and there's going to be a little bit of a gap until guys start appearing in the outposts. It is a 1 hour event, but really the first occupation usually happens around the 55th minute or even less. So keep that in mind, that we're still going to have at least a minute where nothing is going to happen, as people are going to be marching towards certain buildings. Ad, what's up, Ad? How you doing, man? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the cast. One of the things that I've noticed that people have been doing, and is very successful, is once an obelisk is taken, either this one or in this case this one. Would it be this one? Yes, it would be this one. Then people have been sending marches straight to the sky altar by teleporting on this side of the obelisk, and then having a much slower march towards the sky altar. Ideally, what I think a good strategy could be is one of the people teleporting on this area of the obelisk is in charge of making sure the sky altars are secure, and by sending as many marches as are needed in order to hold the sky altars no matter what. And from there, I've seen marches going as far as the enemy Shrine of Life, which I think is a really good power play for some damage early on. Remember that the Shrine of Life is all about HP, healing speed, buffs. So really, if you manage to take the other team's healing buffs early on, then any damage you do will cost them much more to heal. So keep that in mind as we see the first few buildings starting to get taken over. You can see the red team is ahead once again. It seems like the red side is somehow always ahead. They're ahead on all 3 outposts, and an obelisk ticking down already for 30 seconds, while no obelisks have yet to be taken by the blue team, and there's still 1 outpost waiting. As we speak, the outpost and the first obelisk are taken, and it is time for the timer to take the 3-minute cooldown to go through. And now we're looking at the map. What we see is that the red team will have more buildings starting to tick for points than the blue team. So we can expect about a 60 to 100 point lead that the red team will get very early on. But of course, as these guys keep closing the gaps, the difference in the obelisks right here was very minimal. So it's a good comeback by the blue team to ensure that the obelisks are secured in a timely fashion, as there's a difference of about 30 seconds in between these 2 buildings, which will mean an extra 10 points from an obelisk for the red team. You turned El Cid into a gatherer to pick up wood. I mean, that's probably what he's good for. So at this stage, we are looking at the map just being taken over slowly and steadily. We are about 7 minutes into the event. The first few buildings are about a minute into getting locked in, and points will start ticking. It is interesting to notice that really we do not really see points almost at all in the first 8-9 minutes of the match. It is very crucial that teams manage to take over the buildings as fast as possible, especially these outposts, because although they are only 30 points per minute, the fact that these guys are going to have a minute advantage here, 30 seconds here and 30 seconds here, that is 60 points of an early lead, which they can keep snowballing. I think that the first occupations are very important. We can go ahead and go look if any of the blue or the red team have started moving troops towards the sky altar. As we see 1 march already passing the sky altar by the blue team. The blue team is trying to make a play. The blue team is heading for the Shrine of Life down here. Now, if they manage to grab this Shrine of Life with a sneaky play, then oh my goodness, the guys at the red team are going to have a hard time digesting that one out. You can see the blue team is sending already a march for the obelisk. Now, if this obelisk is not protected, it is going to get chunked out. And if they lose this obelisk early on, the TGS guys are going to hate themselves, as there is a guy standing outside the obelisk and is not able to join it. And they lose the obelisk. Look at the solo march onto the obelisk, and the red team is really in trouble now, as they lose an obelisk and the blue team deny The first obelisk, and oh my goodness, guys, we have never seen such an aggressive play into an obelisk. This guy actually managed to sneak in and set a nice amount of troops in here. Now, is he... We're going to have to figure out, is he a tier 5 player? Is he one of our big players? Are those tier 5s in the obelisk right now? And these are... It does not seem like these are tier 5s in the obelisk. It is still... Whoo! Guys, the blue team made a power play going for the obelisk right here. And now they're just taking the time and making sure the red team doesn't gain points from locking in the obelisk. And if they actually manage to lock this obelisk and take away all the ports, and they manage to port themselves into here, boy, oh boy, the red team is going to have such a hard time figuring things out. As we talk about the obelisk snatch, which was insane. What a fantastic play by the blue team. The rest of the map has been occupied. The 2 Shrines of Lives are still missing, and the blue team was aiming towards the lower Shrine of Life and picked it up. Does the red team have a similar response, or do they let this Shrine of Life go? It doesn't seem like any red team was aiming towards this Shrine of Life, which means that if the blue team managed to get their hands on it, the red team is in trouble. Remember, we are talking about a 2.1 billion power alliance, which are still only displaying a quarter or even a third of their power in here. But look at how another huge alliance has dominated the battlefield. This is unbelievable. For the first time, I've actually seen a very convincing early beginning for Jet, which is really, really, really remarkable. This is so cool. So right now, the red team is fighting back for the obelisk. They're going to have not much of a choice, but just to solo the life out of it and hope for the best. There's absolutely no way obelisk is not a tier 5. Is obelisk not a tier 5? Absolutely no way. No way. Find me obelisk. Where is this guy? There's no way he's not a tier 5. Where is he? Chizzy, devil. You guys see obelisk? Obelisk, obelisk. Not obelisk. What's his face? Oh my goodness, I'm looking for obelisk. What's his face? Oh my goodness, my brain is dead. Who is this guy in here? I'm thinking his name is Obelisk. What the hell? This had to be one of their tier 5s, wasn't it? We're going to have to go look at the replay. We're going to have to go look at the replay. These are tier 5s. There's absolutely no way these are not tier 5s. I'm looking on the replay right now. I don't even care. Who is this guy? And how did he secure a full obelisk for the blue team? Look at this. As the points finally are settling in, the red team is taking damage everywhere. There's fights going on in the Shrine of War as the blue team just demolishes it. Look at this. These guys are not playing around. Look at the marches. We completely missed a fight going on in the Shrine of War as the other obelisk is also under attack by the blue team. Look at this. They are actually cutting out the red team altogether. If the red team doesn't start sending marches into their obelisk, they might lose this one as well. And oh my goodness, what's going to happen here? This is a full-on rally by Nemesis. Nemesis just straight up rallied the obelisk, and 12 minutes in, the red team has no obelisks. I have never seen such a dominant performance. Even though in points, this is still a little bit close. Blue team has already taken a substantial lead. With 520 points per minute more. Holy Lord. Okay, this is going to be a slaughter. We can already tell this is going to be a slaughter. There's rallies going into all sorts of objectives. While rallying objectives in Ark of Osiris, who gets the kill points? The rally leader or everyone? I think it's everyone. I think everyone in the report, you'll see how many troops, your set of troops killed from the confrontation, but I'm not 100% sure. We'll take a look at that after the event. So you see absolute obelisk by the blue team. It seems like the red team is going to get pushed out of existence within the next 5 to 6 minutes, and it's going to be that because there are too many tier 5s on the battlefield. This war is not over yet. There is still hope, and the red team can still try to come back from this. But it's going to be a long, big hassle. As they have been fighting, and they do take the second altar. So this is a very important thing to know. The altars are really, really worth every single piece of point they give. You can lose the whole map, but hold the 4 altars and win the game. As long as you're holding the 4 altars, you're pretty much set. So the fact that the red team made an advance on the desert altar is very, very important. Unfortunately, it seems like the guy who advanced on it abandoned it. So if anyone from the blue team start marching this way, they will most likely take the desert altar back. It is very good that they did diminish by 150 points the growth of the blue team, which is substantial, as they're still starting to grow a huge gap in here. And the points per minute differential is really huge. There is about 450 points per minute more for the blue team. So the red team has to do anything to try to stop this. At this point, marches should be going towards the obelisk, marches should be going towards the altar. Anything should be going anywhere, because as you can see, there are troops leaving these buildings. If a red team manages to sneak into here, there's most likely nothing in here, and potentially nothing in here as well, as no one wants to stay back when the war is going crazy. So one of the things the red team can do right now is some of these guys who are still back here and really are not going to get a chance to port anywhere else are going to have to suck it up and start marching troops towards the altars. If these marches start going towards the altars, there's a higher probability that these guys will be able to get something done, as 99% these altars are completely emptied out. These guys are just leaving their posts as they want to fight. So at this stage, the fact that the red team went for the desert altar and is actually holding it for a little bit is very, very good. They are chunking down the attacking army, and they will most likely end up falling without even being able to secure the altar, unless this march fails and the other march does not start heading towards the desert altar. Unfortunately, this is the same guy, so he's most likely going to continue the fight, even though it looks like the desert altar is getting reinforcements. If Baby Noe can just straight up get in here and hold on to this desert altar, it's going to be a massive victory for the red team, as now they are holding 2 of the altars, and the next target should be the other 2 altars, or else this is going to be very, very rough. As you guys can see, the blue team have realized their mistake, and they're starting to send troops back into the desert altar. I'm assuming the red team will or should be rallying this at some point within the near future. They should be aiming towards the altars, and that's that. Blue marches are going to continue to come for the desert altar, but within the next 12 seconds, it will be locked in, and it'll start ticking for points for the red team, which will give them a little bit of a, it'll close the gap even further. While we're talking about all these different things going on the map, a little one trooper with tier 1s right here, as you can see. I think those are tier 1s, are carrying the Ark of Osiris. We previously did that in our own Ark of Osiris, where I carried it with a tier 1 troop. It looks like that's what Jed are about to do to get an extra 3,000 points. The blue team really shouldn't be bothered about, the red team shouldn't be bothered about this at this stage. The points that the blue team have are substantial, and they're gonna pretty much quadruple the red team by the time this arrives. So at this stage, it is damage control. They have to hold on to as many desert altars, to as many altars as possible. They have to start taking over this side of the map. As they're losing their outposts, it seems like the fight is going to be over sooner than you think, as there's 29 versus 28, on top of the fact that the guys on the red team were on had a numbers disadvantage. They have even 1 member less than the blue team, which is really, really sad. It is what it is. A huge alliance like TGS can still make the best out of it. They have a substantial amount of troops, and they have a substantial amount of willpower to fight. And quite honestly, nothing dies and nothing stays in the hospital. So you might as well zero yourself out throughout the Ark of Osiris trying to get the points, because even as a loser, the Ark of Osiris rewards you with a ginormous amount of points, especially if you cross the 10,000 solo points. So even when your rally, your big boy rally, is heading towards what I would assume is an altar, or even is heading towards this obelisk right here, trying to take the obelisk back, sending your solo troops out there to fight just for the sake of fighting is not the worst thing you can do. As you guys can see, the red team is just starting to pour out marches. They are not about to let this go, as the blue team hand in the first Ark of Osiris of the night, 19 minutes into the event. What's up, Mohammed? How you doing, my man? Welcome to the stream. Welcome, everyone. Just a quick reminder, if you guys like these casts, make sure you slap a like on this video as well. It helps out a lot to have all the interaction from you guys. But even if you don't like this video, thank you for being here. I appreciate you guys being here. We're going to have a, I'm going to try to make a recap video on Monday maybe, or, well, it'll be tomorrow, about the Ark of Osiris, talking about some of the plays that we've seen over the weekend and stuff like that. A little bit of a recap of Ark of Osiris goodies. And on top of that, on Tuesday, it is my birthday. So I will be birthday streaming at some point. Just nothing serious, a lot of gold keys, maybe a little bit of beer, maybe a little fun stuff. A chill stream on Tuesday. You're welcome to join it, as the red team is slowly and steadily losing an outpost, losing most of the map, and barely holding on to the 2 altars they have. It seems like a rally was marching towards the obelisk. The march is being chunked down on the battlefield while marching towards the Ark of Osiris's obelisk. Jed right now have everything set for them. They have troops on the battlefield ready to hit the rally back. They have a substantial amount of troops within the obelisk, hopefully. And hopefully the red team will be able to potentially take this obelisk back. But if they're not able to, even though it looks like they're doing a massive amount of damage, and it looks like the blue team will be trying to reinforce, if this is taken back, it is not 100% over just yet. They really need to make a push for the 2 other altars and then start cleaning out other buildings to slow down the progress of the red team, of the blue team. That'll be the only way that this can be done. I love this. Sometimes I can't be on your live streams, but I watch all your videos later. Janae, I really appreciate you. Thank you for saying that. Welcome to the stream. Even when you can be here, if you can't be here, I see you in the comments. I see you in the likes. That's all that matters. It's as long as you're enjoying the content, I'm happy that you're here. And the obelisk is being chunked. The obelisk is being taken out. Why are there so many marchers on the battlefield not going into the obelisk, trying to hold on to it? Do you understand that the obelisk will be taken and all the marches that are outside are going to go in right now? And now the obelisk is full of defense. So many marches on the battlefield not reinforcing the obelisk, and the blue team end up dropping that. This is very crucial. Because at this stage, if the red team managed to secure their obelisk and start porting in here, they can start zeroing these guys out of here, as well as they'll have a fast route towards the desert altar and the other available sky altar, which I would put good money that is completely out of troops. I'm very sure that if anyone in here manages to sneak a set of troops out, they can send them to the sky altar and pick it up for free. I have almost no doubt of that. And now the blue team is going kind of ballsily into solo fights. And they realize the mistake they make and backed off. As now they have a choice to make, whether they stay here or dip out of here, port away from this area, as the red team will be soon able to send their troops in here. And their ports and their cities and everything in here. And this is going to be bad news bear. Look at this. The red team attacking back, taking an obelisk back from the blue team with a quick yoink on the top right of the map. This is not over. Listen, there's 37 minutes left. There are plenty of buildings the red team can still take over, as long as the red team play their cards right and let these kinds of things happen where people end up solo hitting the obelisks, even though there seems to be a rally marching towards this obelisk already. But even with this going on, if the red team managed to hold, which doesn't seem to be the case based on the amounts of damage I'm seeing here, it's gonna be an ugly one. It's really gonna be an ugly one, as there are plenty of blue cities so close to the obelisk. They will be able to consistently start more rallies if they have to. And as much as it pains me that they have to give up this obelisk, at least they picked up the one in the back area right here. Now it seems like the blue team are not about to let this stay, and it's unfortunate that the red team doesn't seem to have more marches, at least attempting to come this way. But as long as the red marches are coming this way, which I'm not seeing any of them, or this way, that's all that matters. Unfortunately, there are no red troops anywhere. Listen, at this stage, the red team is making a huge mistake. They don't have presence anywhere. Let's use a different color. The red team doesn't have any presence on this side of the map. All of this is 100% blue. If we go look right now all across the map, and we're going to leave that sketch and look at the marking, you're going to see no red marches anywhere in this area, which is a safe zone. It's a barrier zone. The blue team is practically able to push all their troops past this barrier into this area where they're now contesting. You guys can see they ported most of their guys in here. Honestly, the red team should be doing what they are trying to do, which is push for buildings, but they're pushing on the wrong side. If the red team were to abandon this side of the red zone as of right now, because you can see that they're holding a good amount in here, and this has to stay, but investing time on this building right here, or even on this building, it is worth it, but investing time on this building is not completely worth it, when what they could be doing, and it's a very important thing to notice, is they can start marching across this into this building and then into this building, and all of these are probably gonna be freebies. So when you guys are playing your game, you guys are talking about how you guys can counterattack. Go look at areas in the map that you have no presence in. As I mentioned, the blue team has completely locked down this side of the map. So right now, all their troops are aimed at this, are aimed at this, are all over here, are all over here. Just keep marching. Take one march, take a set of marches, go through the center of the Ark of Osiris, and push back here. Go through this area right here, but just start taking over the side of the map where the blue team have completely left presence altogether. Now there's a lot more tier 5s on the blue side. It is understandable. There are a lot of tier 5s on their side, but there's still plenty of work the red team can do to attempt to at least claw back into this. As they did lose the desert altar right here, which was theirs for a little bit. They lost back the obelisk. They don't have any way to keep pushing forward. Sir Jazz and Hydron are getting massively hit right here. And once they get 0, they will get ported back into the beginning. And as you guys can see, the red team managed to someone paid attention. Look at the little bit of troops that managed to sneak in here. As this just started flashing, I can tell you that this fight just begun. Look at how quickly he is taking a lot of damage. He didn't have that many troops to begin with, but can you imagine what he could have done here with one set of marches? There's only one guy here. This is one guy holding the fort. If one more set of marches makes it in here and it has a proper amount of troops, there's most likely the same guy here, the same guy on the other altar and on the shrine as well. So look at this. You can clearly see the blue team are not even paying attention to this side of the map. Look at this. They're completely oblivion to the fact that they don't really need to pay attention to this side of the map. They don't care for this side of the map. Look at the fact that even there's a red army. This guy right here can be the key. If he cuts in now into the desert altar, starts taking that rather than going for the caravan, which I'm assuming he used just to guide him, as this is a full cavalry march. If one more friend of his manages to come and join taking out this desert altar, he can for free pick up this desert altar. Now the problem with that is once he picks up the desert altar, he either stays and tries to hold, in which case he will be swarmed as there are blue marches coming from this side very quickly, or he keeps going on to the next building, but in that case, all the blue team needs to do is just get back here. Hard to watch. 2 live streams going on at the same time with a single screen. Yes, it is. Which is why if you go look at Chiskel and Ronnie's streams, you'll see a lot more people. Nothing I can do about that. Thankfully, I have all of you guys who are still with me, or at least watching both the streams at the same time. I'm not going to lie to you. I have Ronnie's on this side, on this monitor, because I do watch Ronnie as well, funnily enough. So, yeah. Is it Ronnie on here? Who's this? That's Chiskel, isn't it? Who's on this monitor? Hello? Oh, that was Chiskel. Let's stay with Chiskel. I've watched Ronnie all day today. So, that's pretty cool. I could have sworn that was Ronnie. I guess I zoomed in too much. Anyway, back into the action. We have the red team trying to take an outpost, which is a valiant attempt. You will most likely take this out of the hand of the blue team, but it's really not worth it as you are only taking away 30 points per minute out of them. As you can see right here, it is a very small amount of points to take away from the blue team every minute. But I guess any damage is better than none. I would have focused your energies on the Shrine of War, which is most likely being held by one guy, or to the altars right here, which are now, there is now fights on the battlefield going on right here. So it's going to be a lot harder for the red team to utilize their sneak attack on this side, as the blue team have indeed kept an eye on it. And there's at least one set of marches here. I see the red team taking out another outpost on their side as well. So down to 830 points per minute against 290. There is still 500. Oh my goodness. What the hell was that? Oh, that was oh god. I destroyed my my sound card, I see. This is no bueno. I'm sorry if you guys heard that. But I don't know what you guys ended up hearing. Probably a big scratch. That was the subscriber alert, which I am going to turn off because it seems like it's very, very bugged. Making a huge noise. That even scared the life out of me. So I'm really, really sorry if you guys got scared the life out of you. And let's turn off alerts for now. Sorry for that. We're back in action as the addiction is real. I mean, the addiction is a thing. Like, what else can we do? The TGS guys are still holding on to this sky altar. If they could have only held another altar like this desert right there, or like this desert right here, or something like that, they would have had a pretty good chance at least keeping these things closed. As again, the blue team is just spreading all over the place. As mentioned, T guys, as you can see, this guy is going to be able to pretty easily, with the same march he picked up the other outpost, perhaps pick up this outpost as well. It goes to show you guys that if one march with a little bit of cavalry was actually able to take over two outposts very, very quickly. The outposts have actually a very big meaning, and even the Shrine of War, as that's where the Ark of Osiris tends to go. So that's one of those. And by the way, one of the things I did forget to mention is welcome to Chanice. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the channel, the first subscriber of our stream, as we are casting the Ark of Osiris. And man, oh man, the blue team are just stomping over TGS. The guys at Jed are really, really, really working them hard. And you can't blame them. There is 5 tier 5s on the battlefield for the blue team. While I'm not entirely sure how many there are for the red team. We have, I would assume, at least 1. So that's 1. That's Big Rick too. I know that name. I think they only have 1 tier 5 really, maybe 2, potentially 2. Sir Jazz could be as well. So I know Sir Jazz does have him, because he does have him, right? I remember him fighting with, battling with Ronnie. So there are more tier 5s on the blue side. They are much faster, much more organized. They knew exactly what they were doing. Their beginning was one of the best beginnings I've seen in an arc yet. They flew straight into this obelisk and caught the red team off guard and snuck into this obelisk very early on. And from there, they just managed to take over the map by just cutting it out, taking one full half to themselves, which includes a little bit of the red zone. And then from there, started piling onto the other side, where the red team is really holding for dear life when it comes to their sky altar, which is about to get attacked once again. There are plenty of marches around the sky altar, and it's going to get aggressed on. If the sky altar falls, then, well, it is already over, but the little bit of extra points that the red team can still get done are going to go away if the sky altar falls. It looks like the sky altar has a decent amount of troops in it, but it also seems like the amounts of marches going towards it are just more than the red team can handle, as they are still holding on to the sky altar by a little bit. There are 2 more marches on their way to hit the altar, if that's even needed, as unfortunately the last possibility to win, which is already pretty much over, is out the window. And unfortunately for the blue team, for the red team, it is GG's. It has been GG's for about 10 minutes or so, even though the red team are still trying. The red team sending a rally towards the obelisk. Again, focusing on the back obelisk, trying to get back into the game by porting out and getting closer in the battlefield. At this stage, because they own no obelisks and they have no armies whatsoever at the front, every time a march needs to make its way anywhere, it has to get from here. As you guys can see, massive amounts of marches walking out. And these marches are going to get stuck here for a little while. There's like a nice 60, 70, even 90-second march all the way from the gates of the beginning all the way to the battlefield. So all these marches are going to be substantially late, as the blue team has insane amounts of teleports. They are forward and ahead everywhere. I don't think they might have maybe one person. I see 2 people left behind, as all the others managed to find a place to port to, either back here where they were previously. There's one guy still holding on, 2 people still holding on the fort here when it comes to this obelisk, but all the rest ported forward, and they are massively present everywhere. As the rally by Nemesis goes for the Shrine of War, the last hope. Last hope. This is like the last hope. It's not like the previous last hopes. This is actually the end. This is the final red building, as there's an outpost blinking at the bottom of the screen as well. I'm kind of hoping the outpost goes out before the Shrine of War, or else that will be the last building. But I'm pretty sure that outpost is going to be taken out before the Shrine of War is. Even though the red team is still trying to take another outpost, I see a blue blinking outpost on the map, and the red outpost that was previously blinking stayed. So this will not be their last building, as there is still one outpost left to be taken out. But it seems like the blue team is very determined to close this out with a full map control, full point system, full win. Can the red team manage to claw their way into 10,000 points? If the 10,000 points mark is hit, it is not the worst of losses, as they at least 5-figured it, but staying on 4 figures is rough. It is very rough. It is very, very rough. The TGS guys are great guys, by the way. They're great warriors. They know what they're doing, but they were overwhelmed by 131 million power more than them. I mean, really, what can you do about that? This water should sponsor me. So the blue team doing whatever they got to do to get all the buildings out of the hands of the red team. You're seeing massive open field combat going on here. This is just like for the solo points now. There is a rally going on against the obelisk, the back blue obelisk, but we're not even going to care for that, because quite honestly, this rally was chunked by marches that are just chilling here, as one more member from Jed ports out. He was currently in the back and ports out into here to help out stop this rally. And all we got to enjoy now is the open field combat, where the red team are going to do whatever they can to at least secure some solo points, as unfortunately, this is over. Sir Jazz is already firmly in the 10,000s, and so is Big Rick and the God Ivor. But now the goal is for each and every one of these guys to get their solo points done. Get that 10,000 plus mark. Their leader, M-Kiz, who invited us to cast this. Big shout out to him for inviting us. Thank you for letting me be here, although unfortunately this hasn't worked out in your favor. But trust me when I tell you, there's going to be plenty to learn out of this Ark of Osiris. Like, how on earth these guys managed to send a march all the way to the obelisk on the other side of the map so quickly, I will never know. But again, it seems like a nice little Tao combination with a full cavalry march and hoping for the best. And somehow they managed to hold. If those were tier 5s, then of course the hold will be easy. But as long as those were not tier 5s, then I have no clue how that happened. It was just an unbelievable turn of events. How quickly the blue team took out one of the 2 red outposts, and it was that, and that was that. Yeah, Andre, beleza. Look at this. This is just madness. We're seeing all sorts of commanders leading out here. I'm very happy we do not see a Lohar on the battlefield. Sometimes I see people leading with a Lohar and I truly don't understand it. Even though I can understand the healing factor and all that stuff, but still, come on, man, you don't need a Lohar. We're seeing a little bit of Sir Jazz's Hannibal in here. Some very cool Scipios and Julius's trying to hold on as much leadership as possible. I see a Cao Cao, a Charles Martel, which is probably a full infantry march right here. There are 2 Charles Martels right there. I see a few Minamotos, which I'm assuming are primarily well, they have to be cavalry, right? And there is a Richard in here. I'm not really sure how much of a lead Richard is a good idea, but we also have a nice Frederick in here leading a set of troops. I see a lot of different leading commanders. It's really interesting. There's a Belisarius on the battlefield and a couple of Boudikas, which kind of makes sense. It's interesting that we don't see a Joan of Arc. I'm really curious as to why nobody has decided to send a Joan of Arc in here in order to buff up all these troops in the big combat field areas. Like all these Charles Martel, the Richard that was here does a substantial amount of debuffs, but I do not see absolutely any Joan anywhere nearby, which can be very useful for buffs. I did see an El Cid leading somewhere in here, which was pretty disgusting. But at this point, the blue team is on a massive collapse on top of the red team. And at this stage, they are heading for the gates. They are heading for the gate fight as Maximum has been sending another set of a rally. This rally is set towards, I would assume, an altar. There are a substantial amount of blue marches. There are huge amounts of blue marches everywhere, all over the map, as Big Rick has also initialized a rally against an outpost. And even that is gonna get damaged out a lot. Add to that all these marches next to the rally who are able to help attack the rally out. Even if this rally somehow survives, if Joan is secondary, do you still get bonus? Yes, of course. It's when her skill's triggered. That's that. So maybe there are Joans as secondaries in here somewhere. I don't know. I would not assume that someone would put a Minamoto or a Frederick or a Julius or anything in the back with a Joan in the back. I don't really think that people actually remember to send Joan into the battlefield, Mark. I'm completely honest with you. I'm really doubtful that there's anyone going, oh damn, I should send a Joan as a secondary commander so I can debuff, so I can go into this field battle. It makes no sense. It makes sense in paper, but I doubt anyone is actually that big of a team player in that sense. So this is a blowout, as you ladies and gentlemen are seeing it. Chisco mentioned it on his stream yesterday. I mean, we mention it all the time, where it's very important to have a Richard on the battlefield, and it's very important to have a Cleopatra on the battlefield. It is very important to have a Joan of Arc on the battlefield. Very few people sacrifice a set of troops for buff purposes. Scipio and Joan, they would make sense, but if I were to send a set of any commanders, I'd literally send Joan and Cleopatra together, and one of them being a rage factory, being the first one in, and then just send as many tankier units as I can and just tank as much damage as possible with those two, because both of them will give a substantial amount of buffs. Sending only Joan with the Scipio is a little bit of a rough one. It is doable, but I don't know. I don't really know if people do that. Maybe all of these. Maybe this guy has Joan in the back as well. That could be. I'm not seeing. I am seeing a look at those arrows being shot by this guy right here, which we see sneaking in right here. Yi Seong-Ye, a very huge AoE. Look at the amounts of damage of his ult. This should be a maxed out Yi Seong-Ye. You can see based on the arrows flying in the air and the amounts of damage being done all around him, it suggests that it is his skill. Unfortunately, the red team was not able to win the outpost fight against this rally. They did manage to sneak in an obelisk in the back. Just like we mentioned, there is absolutely no focus on this side of the map whatsoever. If the red team somehow managed to secure this in some shape or form and manage to send troops back here, there is a possibility, there is a world where they can take over the shrine, these altars, and kind of flip things around. But even then, even if they take over at this point, even if they take over the whole map, this game is over. What's my favorite account and kingdom to play in? I do not have a favorite one because, to be honest with you, I see the big account and the jumper account as almost as one. The big account is the account that I started on, that I invested on the most. It's the one that's ahead the most. It has a huge bank on it for growing. So it is one where I will most likely hit tier 5s first. But the jumper account is a more refined version. It's a version of an account that is more ideal. It's more optimized. It doesn't pack that big of a punch at 6 million power just yet, but it already has like 600,000 troops, which are being upgraded every single day. And it has Richard maxed. It has Yi Song Ye, will be unlocked soon. So the jumper is more of a everything done right account, Mark. And I think that long term, what will end up happening is I'll unlock tier 5s on the big account, and then from there, you can see the guys on TGS, by the way, trying to sneak in a backdoor one. If they manage to actually pull their stuff together, they can take over the Shrine of War right here. They can take over this Sky Altar pretty easily. They can really backdoor the blue team. There's a possibility that the red team can actually take over the whole back area of the map before the blue team even notices what's going on. So this is an interesting one. There's really nothing that can be done by the red team at this stage to get anywhere. This is pretty much done for. But regardless, they can still go and, just for end game sakes, take over these points and make sure that the map is kind of evened out in terms of what they are holding, what's going on, and things like that. So keep that in mind. As of right now, this is pretty much a blowout, and there's very little we can really talk about. The blue team had a really, really strong early game. They really pushed in fast. They had most of the map taken out and a third obelisk before we even knew what was going on. And the red team really had to react the whole time to the way the blue team works. As it looks like, it seems that Hateli is rallying the Sky Altar. I have a feeling we're going to keep watching this, and we're going to see that there's most likely perhaps one set of troops, if any at all, in here. So I think this rally was perhaps a little bit of a waste, as there is one more teleport left for the red team. They have been sending their troops up here, and they are sending a little bit of marches out from this area into the buildings in the nearby vicinity. It seems like this rally on the desert altar is going to be, on the Sky Altar is going to be a little bit pointless, but it will also give a heads up to the blue team that it is time to reinforce the desert altar, as well as to reinforce the Shrine of War or the Shrine of Life. Or they could actually not even care at this stage. They can just go looking for the solo fights just to be able, they should be camping the doors as they are right here, just trying to get as much of the solo fight as possible. Whatever happens in the buildings in the background really doesn't matter for the blue team anymore. Their target is right here. It is to not let any other red troops out of here. The red team only has one more teleport left, and then they're out of teleports. So they're really going to have to either send their marches out to fight at the gates of hell and most likely make it nowhere, or they have to somehow manage to teleport this way, in which case they only have one teleport remaining, so only one guy can get out to play. And now the question is, which one will? As you guys can see, they are slowly taking over back the Shrine of the Sky Altar, the Shrine of War, 2 outposts. They are slowly cleaning up the map from the back end of the blue team, which can be really interesting, as most of the blue team is on the red side. So really, they either start falling back to try to defend their own back, or they stay here and try to keep fighting back here. Now, all these guys going back towards the buildings make no sense. The points game is over. These guys have won, period. Game over. That's it. It is over. So what do you do now? It is time for points. It is time for solo points. There's absolutely no reason for any of the red guys to leave the Ark of Osiris with troops alive. All of these guys should be sending their troops out, doing their best to get as many points as possible, because at the end of the day, the worst thing that'll happen is they'll run out of troops and they'll have to wait for the event to end. But if they run out of points and they don't make enough points because they had troops alive, it won't make any sense. Sir Jazz, so far there's only 4 people with over 10,000 points, which is going to be a rough one, even though there's still 11 minutes still to get it done. It seems like there are barely 10 above the 7. So it looks like these guys are really not trying to get any points done, as there are, what, 5 members under 3,000? That is really sad. It's not a big deal. It happens. They had a bad event. It does happen. We all will have bad events at some point or another. It's completely fine. It's just a shame. It's just a shame. It's a shame that for them, because they can get more awesome rewards by just starting to send troops out here, guys. If you keep sending your troops out here just to fight on the ground, you will at least get your solo points done and get your losers solo rewards, which are also very, very useful. They're very good. There's absolutely no reason not to want them. At this stage, picking up these buildings is more of a souvenir thing for the red team. They really shouldn't. The blue team really shouldn't be bothering. The only reason they are bothering this way is because there are marches out here to be fought, which is all the blue team are really looking for. And the red team should be looking for that as well, except for the fact that the people that are out here, I see one Hydron is still not at 10,000. So for him, these battlefield action things are really good. Sir Jazz is over 10,000 already. We know that Hydron is fighting hard here. Big Rick is also in here, and we know that Big Rick already has his points going on. The God Ivor, I think the God Ivor also has the 10,000 point mark. So yeah, pretty much at this stage, these guys really need to be pushing for 10,000 points. Hyron is doing the right thing by just zeroing out his troops, but at the same time, making sure he gains solo points for the loser's reward. Can the red team make it to the 5 digits? As I mentioned, it would be a little bit of a very bad situation to end up on 4 digits, and I guess they took me very seriously as they started taking up a couple of buildings, starting to rank up 230 points per minute, which means that in the next 2 minutes they will pass the 10,000 point mark, and from there their dignity goes home with them. So it is what it is. It was a bad matchup for these guys. It can happen to absolutely anyone. There's nothing they could have done. The other team came in much more prepared. We're going to look at the recap at the end of this stream. At the end of this event, we're going to go look at the recap and see how quickly the blue team was to take over a bunch of different areas. And I think we're going to have a very good video coming up tomorrow with explanations of things that happened on the Ark of Osiris that are really, really worth your time. So hopefully you guys will enjoy the video, and hopefully it'll do good, and you guys will send it and share it across your social medias and all that good stuff. And you know, the usual that all you guys usually do. As Cargo is really going hard. Cargo Box is really going hard. Rallying this obelisk, which is on the complete opposite end, just trying to really get as much done as possible. At this stage, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cities right next to the obelisk. There is no reason for them not to be sending troops in and out unless they don't have marches available, at which case this is going to be a very, very rough incoming rally as the red team manages to cross the 10,000 point mark and there receives their dignity back. As you know what? It does happen. It does happen that you get slayed. It is important to try to hit that 10,000 mark just for your own sake. If you don't hit the 10,000 mark, it's not that big of a deal. Honestly, it's not that big of a deal. But I'm saying try to at least make it to that 5 figures. It means that you at least kept trying and you didn't give up almost instantly. One of the worst things that you can do in this event is just give up. Keep trying, keep playing. There's a full hour to beat to take advantage of. There's tons of troops that you can get zeroed and not worry because you're going to get all your troops back. So there's absolutely no reason to get stuck at 2,000 points. There's absolutely no reason not to go out and fight, not to send out your troops. As bottom line, if you fill up your hospitals, nothing happens. So there's absolutely no reason not to be fighting consistently, as the red team is sending Big Rick into a rally on the obelisk, the bottom obelisk. It doesn't seem like this rally is gonna hold, although as I say it, the obelisk is taking a substantial amount of damage, even though the rally is, as well as there are marches right near it attacking it while it attacks the obelisk. So it is going to be a rough one, as it seems like the rally will most likely not yield anything. At least Big Rick keeps trying. As they take over the Shrine of Life, they take over one of the altars. They still have an obelisk to their name. for now, as this obelisk is being contested. The red team is not going to let the blue team take this obelisk out. They learned their mistakes. They're implementing exactly what the blue team is doing to them at the bottom. The red team is doing right here. So TGS on the red team, Jed on the blue team, 53 minutes into the event. 53 minutes, 7 more to go. We can pretty much guarantee at this stage, well, we could have a little while back too, that the blue team will be victorious at this Ark of Osiris. They still have 11 teleports available, which is really interesting, considering they picked up all the obelisks and they had them for a substantial amount of time. They ended up earning a ginormous amount of ports, but it still seems that they really don't mind. They just wanted to have the whole map to themselves. The red team has a good amount of troops in here, holding strong against Jed's attack. Even though, as I say that, the HP keeps going down and down, so there's a slight possibility that TGS will lose this altar to the march of whatever Chinese name that is. On top of all that, there's still action going on everywhere on the map as the blue team is taking the Ark of Osiris back to the Shrine of War that it was supposed to belong to the red team. Another 3,000 points on their way for the blue team, which will conclude a very, very, very dominant win over TGS. Jed versus TGS, one of the most one-sided events of the day, but it was very interesting to see how quickly Jed took over and strangled TGS very, very early on. It was almost incredible. I think that about 15 minutes into the match, you could have probably called it. It was that crazy. And it's not because there wasn't a chance for the red team to attempt to make a comeback, but just the blue team was so dominant, coming in with so much preparation as they take over the Sky Altar away from the red team. And the red team can pretty much do nothing about it, as they are more worried about their obelisk, which has received a massive amount of attention from land troops, from open field combats, as these guys are worrying about the open field combats happening right next to their territory, to their houses. The rest of the buildings they worked so hard to try to secure fall. And with that, the blue team is once again in command. It seems like the red team went for a desert altar a little bit further on the map, but it seems like this desert altar is decently well protected, as they're both taking a substantial amount of damage. The desert altar is taking more damage than the actual solo march. The problem is it is a solo march, and therefore it has much less troops most likely than whatever is in this desert altar. And on top of that, it seems like he was taking a beating previously. So it is a failure on grabbing that altar. But in return, the blue team will guarantee themselves the last outpost that belongs to the red team, once again neutralizing their points per minute down to only 20 points per minute from the obelisk, which is the only building they're still holding on to. But the way I know the blue team, and I do not know the blue team, well, I do know them, but I didn't know them before this. I can tell you for 100% of a fact, these guys are marching everything they got on this obelisk in an attempt to take it out and close out the map as the event ends. Is it true that garrison talents does not affect buildings in the Ark? I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm pretty sure they don't. I'm pretty sure... That's a good question. I'm pretty sure they don't, though. I need to double check that. But I'm almost certain they don't. Wait, do they? Why wouldn't they? Do they? That's a good question. That is a good question. I wonder if we can see it anywhere. All damage. That we don't care about all damage. This is okay. We should maybe be able to see it on the rules. I'll check it out and get back to you about that, Mark. I'll get back to you about that on Tuesday for sure. There is a blue march, a blue rally on its way to hitting Big Rick. Big Rick is about to get smacked by a rally in the Ark of Osiris. What the hell is going on? Big Rick is about to take a big boy rally, 63 million power. Let's go look at how much damage he ends up taking. 4.3 million kills on Big Rick's name as he starts piling up the kills on this rally. Oh, another 10,000 kills. It is going to grow. It is going to grow a lot, as this rally is most likely going to take a beating by Big Rick. A big whale right here. Shout out to Big Rick, taking in a rally on the Ark of Osiris and just slaughtering them. Can you get a nice little 50, 60k kills out of this? That wouldn't be bad at all. Although I would have much more rather see them solo swarming Big Rick in an attempt to zero him, but I guess a rally is good too. It'll yield him a little bit of kills as he almost picks up 100,000 kills just from that one fight right there. From that one rally trying to hit his city, he's up 110,000 kills. My goodness, this rally is suffering. Can he hit the 4.5 real quick before this ends? 4.5. Holy lordy, that's a lot of kills. This rally took a huge beating trying to mess up with my boy. He trying to mess with Big Rick, man. Come on, man. What you trying to mess with Big Rick? No, Big Rick is big. You know what I mean? He's big. A minute and a half left in the match, ladies and gentlemen. It is time to pretty much call it. I mean, we've been calling it for a little while. We're just going to wait out to see the pointing system to see how bad the beating was in terms of kills and heals and stuff like that. We might see some very interesting things. We might see that the blue team might have even killed a little bit more, or even the red team had a little bit more impact in terms of kills, but just not. It didn't reflect in terms of the points. 11,000 to 68,000. 11 to 68. It makes sense. It was a very, very one-sided battle. It was a very, very one-sided affair overall. What can be said? GG's to TGS, the GG's to Jed. Very well played by both sides. We're going to go watch the recap in a little bit and see how crazy fast Jed already took the second obelisk away from the red team. It was unbelievable. I was wondering if you like streaming or playing more when it comes to Ark events. Mark, I won't lie to you. I like them both equally. If I can, I will stream myself playing the Ark, but I'll most likely end up doing it on the phone and just be kind of like more attentive to the phone than to the chat. I do like to cast the Ark very much. I really would love if there was something competitive for me to be able to cast. I'm good with words. I just need to get a little bit more into it. So I really enjoy casting these. I really have no problem just doing that. So let's look at the report at the end. 50,000 points came from the Ark of Osiris. We're going to completely ignore that. There's a massive massacre. 40,000 points ahead in terms of points per minute from buildings. Occupation score was insane. The provision score helped out. The red team crossed the 10,000 mark. These guys from Kingdom 92. So we're going to go ahead and write that in the title so we don't mess that one up. You guys can see a clear total kills and total heals. That was very, very, very crazy. You guys can see in the total heals that these guys actually killed a lot more than these guys healed. The blue team primarily went for healing. You can see a substantial amount of healing done by the blue team compared to the amount of kills happening. But in terms of the red team, they healed up much less troops than the troops that were pretty much destroyed by a substantial amount. It looks like there was a lot more healing done by the blue team than by the red team, which makes sense. You don't want to be healing if you're noticing you're losing. It's a waste of time. Like, why would you heal? Why would you waste your speed ups? So it is the right play to be making. And as we march out of the Ark of Osiris, we're going to go look at the defeat. We're going to expand and look at everyone's work as Sir Jazz ends up in number 1 with 55,000 solo points. It seems like only 9 people managed to cross the 10,000. Good for Hyrion, who actually managed to get it done. Unfortunately for the rest, they're going to get less solo rewards for being part of the event. And even myself on this little account that is pointless and meaningless. Well, I should have gotten rewards, but I wasn't here early for the registration. Anyway, let's go ahead and go look at a recap of the event really quickly as we summarize the big plays, the good plays, the things that really made a difference. And maybe we'll notice something that we can learn out of very briefly right now. So let's go ahead and grab the recap, the recording that I have on here. And we're going to go ahead and start skipping ahead as the doors opened up and we see the red team started marching very early on. So we're going to keep scrolling a little bit further out until a minute where we're talking here about different obelisks and things that you can grab. So at this stage, it seemed like we are only 3 minutes into the event. There are a nice amount of buildings being held, as I was marking with the during the stream itself. The 3 outposts belong to the red team. The obelisk belonged to the red team, and it seemed like the blue team was actually a little bit behind in terms of buildings. Right, we were demonstrating how these 2 obelisks right here are very close to each other in terms of times, but these 2 have a little bit of a gap in between them. So it seemed like the blue team was very focused, was kind of messing up in the beginning, right? We had a thought that the red team was going to have a little bit of a point advantage because the blue team seemed to have fallen asleep a little bit on their taking of buildings. But that wasn't the case whatsoever. That wasn't the case whatsoever. While we were sleeping, a blue march was actually slowly and steadily making its way to the Shrine of Life, a Shrine of Life on the red side. They were trying to sneak in past the Sky Altar, which they had already reached, and they went towards the Shrine of Life. By doing that, I thought this was as further up as they have gotten so far. But then this was pretty crazy. About 8 minutes into the event itself, a blue march manages to sneak in all the way into the obelisk. This is Cargo Box. Now, Cargo Box is most likely sending tier 5s in here. These are probably either tier 4s or tier 5s. I'm guessing these are tier 5s because they managed to chunk away at this obelisk. For some reason, this guy turned back and didn't go into the obelisk, but the little bit of troops that were in there, the blue team picked up. The red team's obelisk did not let the red team manage to close it out. 2 minutes after the red team is ticking down to get their obelisk locked in, at about less than 10 minutes into the event, 8 minutes into the event, the blue team is already holding onto a forward obelisk with tier 5s, which means that at this stage, it is very, very, very hard for the red team to take over this building. They're going to have to quickly rally it. They're going to have to send a lot of troops to fight against these tier 5s. And those tier 5s were huge. They were strong as hell. They managed to hold on to that obelisk, which was unbelievable, by the way. It was crazy that he managed to get this far this quickly. We're going to have to go and rewatch which commanders he ended up sending this way. As we can see, a Kusunoki, I'm assuming a Cao Cao is in there as well. And at that stage, the real question was, where are these guys going to decide to port? Because the way it's looking right now, they have 5 teleports available on their side. They have 3 obelisks, which means they're going to gain a lot more teleports going on. And if they manage to hold on to this obelisk, it will be sending armies straight into the back of the enemy. At this stage, the blue team decided this is 10 minutes into the game, that they are going to be taking over the bottom part of the map. I had mentioned it over and over throughout the stream that what they ended up doing is they created, I don't think I can draw. Yeah, I can't draw on a video, which is pretty funny. But they created a barrier right here where all this side of the map was a blue side, and they pretty much let it go as they had pushed troops into this area. They've cleared out everything red from this side, and now they could focus on this desert altar, on this obelisk, and on pushing forward. So all these buildings were already theirs, and they had built a buffer where the red team would primarily head towards the Shrine of Life, the desert altar, or their obelisk first before actually going for anything else. Now on top of that, the other Shrine of Life was completely forgotten, completely ignored. So the blue team ended up picking up another freebie. And at this stage, they are waiting for 2, 4, 6, 7 buildings to finish their cooldown to start ticking for points for them, while the red team only has 2 more buildings waiting, which means that once everything is done for, there's going to be a good 6+100 points differential per minute between the red team and the blue team. And from the 10th minute on, the blue team had their stranglehold on the red team. At this point, they're making 20 points more per minute, and that's not that much. It helps them grow a little bit, but as you can see, the tier 5s that were in here were so substantial that all these troops were not able to touch them, as I'm assuming more marches ended up making it into the obelisk, as well as there's another march coming in here. So really within 10 minutes, the blue team really put a stranglehold on a huge part of the map, and really made the blue team panic. As time went on, and it didn't take much time, right? as we hit minute 47, we can already see 440 points per minute more being done by the blue team. And this is not even the end of it, as there are more buildings ticking for the blue team as they end up taking over the Shrine of War from the red team. At this stage, it was a stranglehold on the map. It was straight up trying to get more and more of the map taken out. But quite honestly, the red team had lost the game about 8 minutes and 20 seconds into their match. The power difference was huge. That's also something to keep in mind. It is not easy to play with these huge differences in power. So big props for the red team for at least trying, but it seems like this was an unsuccessful, very unfun situation for the red team. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to call it a night, I guess. It was a great stream once again, covering another Ark of Osiris. We covered a total of 4 Ark of Osirises this weekend. I am maybe going to do a highlights video recapping a bunch of things that went on in this Ark of Osiris. If you guys want me to make a recap video, make sure you guys smash the like button, hit that bell, all that good stuff. 133 million power is a huge difference. And unfortunately for the red team, it meant their defeat. Anyway, guys, another video coming out tomorrow and a birthday stream on Tuesday. So make sure you guys are here for that. Thank you guys again for watching. The VOD will be available within the next couple of minutes on the channel. And you guys are going to be able to see all the breakdowns, all the analysis, all the tips and advice that I gave to the guys from TGS throughout the fight. There are some things that they can go back and look at and figure out how they can do better. But for now, I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. Enjoy the last couple of hours of Sunday and kill it early on. Next week, start your week strong. Monday is a great day for you guys to prove yourselves to be, once again, the best types of people. Be good to people around you. People will be good for you. You guys have a great rest of your weekend. I'll see you guys on stream on Tuesday and for sure on a video in the next couple of days, in the next day or so. Until the next time, peace.